and Lifeguard Association Wyatt Wernuth.
What I like to tell people is where there's a dip, there's a rip. Have you ever been on the beach and the tides come in and wet all your stuff, but the people along each side of you are dry? You're in the rip. Stay out of it.
Swimming parallel to shore may not always work. Experts now urging to keep your legs up, back of the head against the water, and using only gentle movements. Trouble for beachgoers, both locals and tourists, in Greece. A new wildfire has led to evacuations in coastal areas south of Athens. Firefighters also battling brush fires in neighboring Turkey. Whatever's the French version for the expression "yuck" is not being heard today at the Seine. For the first time in over a century, Parisians and tourists are swimming in the river running through Paris. The long polluted waterway got a $1.5 billion cleanup ahead of last year's Olympics. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Enjoy the Fox and Hounds restaurant's fabulous all-you-can-eat fish fry. It's one of the best. The magnificent Sunday brunch is also all-you-can-eat. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat free. Call and reserve foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
When you need commercial or residential plumbing service, you need it now. Call Quality. We have over a 60-year track record of taking care of people. And with over 60 vehicles ready to respond to your needs, we'll be there in a hurry, so you won't have to worry. This is Anthony Zaneski. For commercial or residential plumbing service, call Quality and get the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. At Quality, we offer the most respected brand names in heating and air conditioning. Armstrong and Carrier. It doesn't get any better. And our technicians are top-notch. I know, because I handpicked every one of them. They're vetted and thoroughly trained. Hey, they're the cream of the crop. And that's why our quality workmanship guarantee is the strongest in the business.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
It's there all day, and it never goes away. I hate pain. It robs us of so much. But if you take action today, your pain could be gone tomorrow. Because at Rejuvenex, we harness the power of Toradol and hyaluronic acid to calm the inflammation and cushion joints. Rejuvenex treatments are safe, they're FDA approved, and in most cases, insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pays for them. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, our treatments are affordable. It's not a gimmick. It's pharmacological medicine administered in office in a simple and convenient manner. And with it, our patients have been able to avoid risky surgery and begin to stop the onset of arthritis. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and here we've made pain treatment as easy and affordable as it can be.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
This is Brewers Warmup with Dominic Cotroneo. Your lineups, manager insights, and a preview of tonight's game right now. This is Brewers Warmup. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Hello, happy holiday weekend to you and to everyone. Happy 4th of July. Hope you're having a safe and happy holiday. Maybe you're listening on the lake. Maybe you're on the back patio. The kids are running around. Whatever it may be. Thanks for joining us here on your holiday weekend. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Brewers and Marlins getting ready to go down in Little Havana in Miami at Lone Depot Park. The first of a 3-game set against the NL East foes. And arguably one of the hottest teams in baseball for the last 2 weeks or so. They had a tough series against the Twins coming back down to the reality. But in sentences I don't think anybody expected to say on the 4th of July, the Marlins are ahead of the Braves in the National League East standings. They're 39-46. The Braves are 39-47. Point being, do not take this team lightly. They are playing better. They're handing the ball to their former Cy Young Award winner, Sandy Alcantara. But Sandy has not been himself. We'll break that down coming up in the next segment. We'll also talk a little bit about the Brewers starting pitcher today. That is Quinn Priester, coming off of a career outing on Saturday against the Colorado Rockies. We'll break that start down as well. And we'll also try to diagnose what went wrong with the offense in the last 2 games in Queens. So Brewers and Marlins getting ready to go at 6:10 Central Time in just about an hour or so. We are going until just past the bottom of the hour. That is when the On Deck Show built by Menards will take over. Lane Grindle and Josh Maurer will be on the call. All that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the starting lineups. Starting with the visiting Milwaukee Brewers, 48 and 39. Here is their lineup against the right-hander Sandy Alcantara. Sal Frelick will lead things off once again, 14th straight game in a leadoff spot. He's in right. William Contreras continues to reside in the second spot of the order. William will hit second. Christian Yelich in the 3 spot. He has been hot. He hit a homer again on the second game of the doubleheader. He's DHing. Jackson Chourio is in center field, and in stats that just don't make sense, Chourio went 0 for 11 in this ballpark last year. More on that later. Batting 5th is Bryce Terang. His hitting streak is over, but he is the second baseman batting 5th, still hitting .287 on the year. Isaac Collins, one of the best rookies of the National League. Collins is the left fielder batting 6th. Jake Bowers will get the start today at first base, hitting 7th. Caleb Durbin, the third baseman, back in the order again for the Crew. Caleb will bat 8th. And finally, Joey Ortiz, the shortstop, rounds out the order for the Crew in the 9 spot. He had a grand slam on Wednesday. Once again for the Crew, Frelick, Contreras, Yelich, the top third. In the middle, it's Chourio, Terang, and Collins. And then the bottom third is Bowers, Durbin, and Ortiz. For the Miami Marlins, here's how their lineup stacks up. Xavier Edwards, switch hitting second baseman, will lead things off. He had the quietest cycle of the season last year when the Marlins won the series at American Family Field last year. Jesus Sanchez hits second, and he'll play right field. Batting third, Otto Lopez, who had been hot, cooled off in the homestand against the Twins. The shortstop hits third. Agustin Ramirez, designated hitter, leading National League rookies in runs batted in. He's got 35 of them. He's the designated hitter batting cleanup. Kyle Stowers, in one of the fleeces of a deal from Peter Bendix and the Marlins organization to get him for Trevor Rogers from the Orioles. And, man, I'm sure the Orioles really wish they had Stowers, the left fielder, bats 5th. He's got 15 homers to lead Miami. Batting 6th, it's Eric Wagaman. He's over at first base. The 7th spot, also a former Oriole, Connor Norby. He's playing third base. In the 8th spot is Dane Myers. He is playing center field for the Marlins. And batting 9th, Nick Fortes, the catcher, rounds out the order for McCullough's Marlins. One more time. Edwards, Sanchez, Lopez, the top third. The middle is Ramirez, Stowers, and Wagaman. And the bottom is Norby, Myers, and Fortes. And again, the pitching matchup. Quinn Priester gets the ball for the Crew, coming off of the best start of his big league career. Priester comes in at 6-2 with a 3.35 ERA against Sandy Alcantara, coming back from Tommy John surgery. It has not been kind to him. He is 4-8 with a 6.98 ERA. Again, another sentence we did not expect to be saying on the 4th of July, that, well, it has not gone well for Sandy Alcantara, given the last time we saw him healthy, he won the Cy Young Award when the Marlins, people forget, made the playoffs in 2023. They were a wild card team. They snuck in at the very end, but then decided to tear it all down because that's what the Marlins do. As soon as they have some sort of success, they tear it all down. It's a very frustrating way to live. Clayton McCullough, first-year manager of the Miami Marlins, former first base coach, longtime Dodger assistant, now at the helm of Miami after Skip Schumacher went to join the Texas Rangers front office. You know, there's a lot of speculation about Schumacher maybe going to the Cardinals, maybe going to the Padres, but the Rangers said, no, we want him. They've brought him into the front office. He's learning a little bit more on that side, and, you know, there's always been speculation about Schumacher and maybe Bruce Bochy when he decides to hang things up, but Skip had an out in his contract that with Kim Ng leaving the organization after ownership pulled the rug out from underneath her, that as long as Kim Ng was gone, he was allowed to be gone as well, and that's what Skip Schumacher used to his advantage, and now we see Clayton McCullough in charge of the Marlins. They are 39-46, so only 7 games under 500, and they're handing it to the kids. The kids have been very, very good. They just don't hit many homers. They don't have a lot of pop, but their pitching has been okay. The bullpen's okay, but Sandy has been shocking. So we'll try to diagnose what's gone right, what's gone wrong for Sandy Alcantara. We'll talk a little bit about the Brewers offense a little bit later on, too. We're going until just past the bottom of the hour. Brewers, Marlins, first pitch coming up at 6:10 Central Time. I'm Dom Cotroneo. This is Brewers Warmup on 620 WTMJ.
What if you could lose up to 1 pound of fat every single day at Milwaukee Weight Loss? They've got the secret, and it's helping people shed serious weight fast. Hey, it's Steve Scafidi from WTMJ. I've been on the Milwaukee Weight Loss program since January and currently in the maintenance phase after losing, get this, 40 pounds. It was fast, easy, and safe, and I'm sticking with the incredible team at Milwaukee Weight Loss to keep the weight off. Their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow program helps people lose weight naturally and safely with no drugs, no risky injections, no meal kits, no shakes, no exercise required. It's not just about losing weight. It's about resetting your metabolism to keep it off for good with personal coaching every step of the way. And guess what? Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Book your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-449-1180. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano from Wisconsin's Morning News. It's baseball season, which means Brewers 360 is back every day at 8:40. Sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. Every day, all season long, we're joined exclusively by Brewers guests, including manager Pat Murphy and more. So Murphy, as we're wrapping up our interview.
Great talking to you. Really enjoyed it. Okay.
I was like, you did? Is he just in a good mood, or what'd y'all do to Murph?
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. My wife recently had a major accident that involved her back. I felt blessed and lucky because Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin is on our side. She's on the way to healing. They've got the best imaging and best doctors, the best systems, and the best way of taking care of you. They've got experts when it comes to things like shoulders, knees, and hips. And it's not always surgery. Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin will take care of you from beginning to end. Go to their website, OHOW.com, OHOW.com. Request an appointment. Orthopedic Hospital of Wisconsin.
Now, more of Brewers Warm-Up on WTMJ.
Welcome back. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Brewers and Marlins. 3-game set begins here on this 4th of July. Fun moments before the game today, and you may hear a little bit about this on the On Deck show with Lane and Josh coming up in a moment. But today we saw Carlos Gomez downstairs hitting some batting practice. And T-Plush, Niger Morgan. They're also returning to American Family Field on July 25th at American Family Field for the Alumni Home Run Derby in celebration of the 25th season at American Family Field. Of course, they made themselves famous at Miller Park, but in exactly a month, 3 weeks from today, July 25th, it's a 3:10 Friday game. After that game is the Alumni Home Run Derby celebration. So that should be a blast on the field. Get your tickets now, brewers.com. So fun moment to see Go-Go and T-Plush in the house. Let's talk a little bit about today's starting pitching matchup. Sandy Alcantara. Man, this dude was on top of the world in 2023. One of the best pitchers in baseball. In fact, I think if anyone was asking, oh man, who would you start your organization with? After 2022 season, 228 innings. He struck out 207 batters. He was the Cy Young Award winner. Heck, he was top 10 in MVP voting. A unanimous Cy Young Award winner. 6 complete games, one of them a complete game shutout. He was terrific. But then some cracks in the armor in 2023. And then before you knew it, he had to miss a little bit of time in the middle of 2023. Innings total was still 184, which was good, but wasn't the same dominant guy. He had way fewer strikeouts, 151 strikeouts. Then boom, spring training 2024, Tommy John surgery. He needs to go under the knife. So Sandy, who had signed a team-friendly extension a few years ago, is like, all right, well, let's go ahead and get her done, and returns this year. And all those cracks about the contact that we saw in 2023 coming off of a Cy Young Award year has come back to bite him. So in 2022, the fastball velocity has remained the same, 97 miles an hour. But he also had an elite chase rate, and he kept guys off the barrel. He would get ground balls at a fantastic rate. Over half the balls in play were a ground ball. He still maintained that chase rate in 2023, but all of a sudden, guys were able to square up his changeup specifically. In 2023, he only had 37 strikeouts on his changeup, which is roughly half of what he had in 2022 in his Cy Young Award season. So I was like, whoa, that's a massive red flag. These guys are hitting my changeup. Opponents hit 146 against it his Cy Young year, 282 against it the following season. And now it has repeated itself in 2025 since coming back from Tommy John surgery. He only has 11 strikeouts on that pitch this season. Furthermore, the red flags are he did not allow a single homer on the changeup his Cy Young year. He allowed 3 in 2023. He's already allowed 2 in 2024. He's not getting the same chase. He's not getting the same swing and miss, really suggesting that batters are able to see his pitches out of the hand very easily. The ball is not moving like he had expected it to be at this point. It has been a frustrating year for what many assumed was going to be the number one trade piece of this 2025 deadline. But quite frankly, nobody wants him. He's still owed $17.3 million for next year. Then it's a team option for 2027 in his age 31 year, and it's only a $2 million buyout. I can imagine the Marlins are going to say so long after next season if this continues for Sandy Alcantara. It has been an odd year. So the opportunity for the Brewers to pounce and get their offense going in the right direction. More on that offense in the final segment of Brewers Warmup. But on the other side for the Brewers and for Quinn Priester, it's obviously hard to follow up your best going 7 shutout innings against the Colorado Rockies. And, let's say that quiet part out loud. It was the Rockies. And it was an odd day game with the shadows and all that. I don't care. He was fantastic. Career high, 11 strikeouts. He only allowed 1 hit. And the biggest number that I'm going to look out for from that game that can carry over to this game, he's going to face 6 right-handed batters in today's lineup from the Marlins. The Rockies' righties went a combined 0 for 15 against Priester in his last start. It really sets up well for his sinker, the slider darting away. He has found the grip of those 2 pitches to work in his favor. Specifically, the slider, that was the best it had looked in his last start against the Rockies. And I talked to him a little bit the day after in the clubhouse, specifically about the slider and how, sometimes Mother Nature isn't on your side. What we mean by that is, remember, he had the clunker of a start in Minnesota. In that game, he was hanging sliders. In fact, opponents went 4 for 8 on the slider, fresh off of them going 0 for 9 against it the start previous before facing the Twins. So it's like, whoa, what went wrong here? He explained to me that you could feel the wind coming in from right field, but with the way that the bowl redistributed the wind and kicked it back out, where it would almost create a little bit of a buffer where he'd throw a slider and he could see it being held up in the wind. If you can imagine being a golfer and trying to hit a shot into the wind, that ball is going to balloon and go high in the air. But instead, the ball wasn't spinning like it was supposed to, wasn't cutting through the air, and it leads to hangers and it leads to homers. Well, hey, no worry today. You're pitching in a dome. And in fact, today and his next start will both be in a dome. One last note on the starting pitching. Tomorrow, it'll be Chad Patrick for the Brewers. And then Sunday, the long-awaited return of Brandon Woodruff. We'll talk more about Woody in tomorrow's postgame show. We do not have a Brewers warm-up on Sunday, but it is so good to have Brandon Woodruff back, ironically, in the city and ballpark that he made his last appearance in September of 2023 when he learned about the injury. He wasn't quite recovering like we thought. His velo was down, and then they scratched his last start, and then the tearful press conference that is still seared in my mind for Brandon Woodruff to return or in the playoffs to say he is not going to pitch in the playoffs after all that work with his shoulder injury earlier that year to come back, have a complete game shutout against these Marlins, and then be told he can't pitch anymore, and then had to miss now more than 18 months of big league time to finally come back, a 2-year friendly deal to say, let's get you back on track, let's get you healthy. And we're finally at the end of that tunnel on Sunday. So Quinn Priester today, Chad Patrick tomorrow, Brandon Woodruff on Sunday, which would line up Woody's home return to be against the Nationals on Friday. Let's talk a little offense, shall we? Brewers, Marlins, 4th of July baseball right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Certa Pro Painters. They painted the exterior of our house. I loved it because they're thorough and they're thoughtful. As a matter of fact, they pointed out some wood that might need to eventually be replaced. They just looked at the whole house, and I felt like they absolutely cared. Get on Certa Pro's calendar right now. The summer sales discount goes through July 31st. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or business. They'll do it the right way the first time. Each Certa Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated. It's Certa Pro Painters.
Fleet Farm is the place to fuel up, earn rewards, and save every day. Fleet Rewards credit card holders can earn 5% back in rewards on qualifying purchases made with a Fleet Rewards credit card, including 5% back on fuel at our Fleet Farm gas marts. While you're there, fill up on a hot dog, popcorn, and 20-ounce drink, all for just $1.99 at participating locations. Stop in and start earning more with Fleet Rewards at Fleet Farm. Subject to credit approval. See a team member for details.
The very front of the Brewers front office is on Wisconsin's Morning News.
I think it's something sort of our brand of baseball. You know, we're going to play you tough and play hard night in and night out, and we're here and we're going to fight you all 9 innings.
Brewers GM and Senior Vice President Matt Arnold is our Brewers 360 guest every Thursday morning at 8:45.
How soon do I start asking you about trades and stuff, Matt?
My phone's always on, so no.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at accunet.com.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring great tips on how to operate your home. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and progressive.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Back to Brewers Warmup on WTMJ.
Welcome back. Last few minutes of the show. Brewers and Marlins. Coming up, 6:10 will be the first pitch here on WTMJ. I'll be with you after the game today as well to break it all down on Brewers Extra Innings. It'll be myself and Craig Kashan reacting to this one in Miami. Now, the Brewers had a great game one of that doubleheader on Wednesday. They scored 7 runs themselves. Homers from Joey Ortiz, a grand slam, and Isaac Collins, who's been white hot. And then in game 2, solo homers, back-to-back jacks from Jackson Chourio and Christian Yelich. But that was it for their offense in that game. Then yesterday, an infield hit, little chopper that Durbin scored a run on, and also a solo homer from Andrew Monasterio. But aside from that, not much else. So what do you look for the Brewers offense? Well, let me start with some good news. For the first time this year, the Brewers offense as a collective have homered in 6 consecutive games. And this is a team that does not rely on the home run ball, as we all know, but we're never going to turn them down. And the fact is, the Brewers have to have multiple runners on base as much as possible. That's how they are built to succeed. As when the home run comes here and there, cool, but they're a team that's built for sustained rallies and putting the ball in play and putting pressure on the opponent to say, hey, you better make the outs, you better play clean defense because these guys are going to be on base. You look at it as a club. Since that series loss against the Braves, which was their last series loss before losing 2 out of 3 to the Mets, including the series against the Mets, the Brewers as a team, their batting average is just shy of 300, 292. Their on-base percentage is 360. Their OPS is over 800. The offense largely has been very, very good. And now you may be thinking, well, Dom, that includes that blowout game in Minnesota when they scored 17 runs. Yeah, sure. But you look at the run totals until the last 2 games in Minnesota, when they score 4 runs, or excuse me, the last 2 games in Queens, when they score 4 runs, they're winning. They're not losing these slugfests, right? So since that winning streak, the 8-gamer that started with the finale in Pittsburgh back on May 25th, whenever they score at least 4 runs over this stretch, they have only lost 1 of those games. It's the magic number. We've talked about it so much for this club. And again, since May 25th, okay, they are 23-11. That is the second best record in baseball. In fact, their run differential over these last 34 games is plus 62, also one of the best in baseball. But when you look at it a little bit deeper, in those 11 losses, it's pretty simple. Here are the run totals. 2, 0, 0, 1, 2, 5. There's that 1 loss. It was game 3 of the Cardinals series. 3, 4, I should say 2 losses, I beg your pardon. A 5-4 loss to the Pirates last Monday. 3, 3, 2. So 4 is the magic number, meaning of the 23 wins, they have scored at least 4 runs in the majority of them. And on the season, we've said it before, we say it again, it's not like we're making rocket science here, guys. You score more runs than the other team, you're generally going to win the game. That's how things work in baseball. Sources tell me, when you score more than the other team, you're going to win the game. The Brewers, team record all season long, 2 key stats. They're a front-running team this year. Maybe we've talked about teams in the past about being come-from-behind teams, never out of it. This team's just not that team. They're 40-12 when they score first. 40-12. They've only got 8 wins when their opponent scores first, regardless if it's 1 run or 5 runs. 8-27 when their opponent scores first. 40-12 when they score first. And then finally, when they score at least 4 runs, it gets even better. They're 41-9. 41-9. Just get to 4. Good things happen when you get to 4 runs. The East has been a bit of Jekyll and Hyde for the Brewers. Of course, they started 3-0 against the Philadelphia Phillies. Now they go 1-2 against the New York Mets. Now they get ready to go with these Miami Marlins. So Brewers getting ready for the first of 3 tomorrow. First pitch will be scheduled for 3:10. We're on the air at 2 o'clock with another edition of Brewers Warmup. And then finally, a 12:40 Central Time first pitch on Sunday afternoon for your holiday weekend. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard before we say goodbye. What a slugfest down at Wrigley. The Cubs set a franchise record. They scored 11 runs. They win 11-3. They also hit 8 homers in the game, multiple franchise records. Most homers hit in a game by the Cubs, and the most homers allowed in a game by the Cardinals in that one. 11-3, the final. Chicago, they're starting to heat up again and feel good. They're 53-35 now. St. Louis is starting to come back down to earth like somebody told you they would. Chicago will open today's play no worse than 4 games ahead of the Crew. If the Brewers win today, they will move it back to 4 games, but St. Louis is now 47 and 42. Another quick final from the Central Division. The Reds over the Phillies, 9-6. The Phils are 51 and 37, still in first place in the East. And also, here come the Mets. They beat the Yankees in the opener of their Subway Series 6-5. The Yankees are struggling. Maybe we'll talk about them in postgame. Our producer has been Matt Yazel. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you after. Until then, keep on swinging.
Did your home suffer damage from a storm or severe weather? Don't stress any longer. Loyal Family Renovations